Hey y'all, this is the Mental Nomad, and as I hit record, I see that things are escalating in Washington, D.C. again for seemingly no reason. Like, this is still really wild to me, and I think he says Chicago is the next place that he is going to take over. But I listened to some Wu-Tang Clan and shook my ass before I watched this video so I could calm down because self-care is important, you know? So when Donald Trump left his office in 2020, 2/3 of Americans agreed that Trump had introduced and increased more racial tensions in the United States. So it makes me wonder why a whole bunch of those people voted for him again, or supposedly voted for him again. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm just logical, and I like science and stuff, and I'm pretty sure he lost this, but his agenda is rooted in fulfilling promises that he has made since he was president. Before he was president in 2016, he wants to roll back the clock on racial justice. He is like laser focused on dismantling efforts that address systemic racism and promote a more equitable and fair society. Why is he so obsessed with us? All of this is shown in the 1776 report, which was published by the White House in the administration's waning days, the good old days. The report is also bullshit. It imagines the possibilities of a world without racial equality. And as we know and we can see, these efforts continue. He wants to restore patriotic education in the schools. The report compared progressives to fascism and claimed that the civil rights movement embraced ideas similar to those held by defenders of slavery, and sought to downplay the legacy of racism in U.S. history. Obviously, historians uniformly condemn the report, but I'd also like to point out that you don't have to be a historian to know that this shit is full of lies and more bullshit and zero nutritional educational value. It's trash. Trump's regime ditched and stopped enforcement of civil rights laws on behalf of historically marginalized groups and used the shit out of his federal power to ramp up right-wing attacks on equal opportunity initiatives. They also went back and forth between openly vilifying and then neglecting communities of color. Trump ignored public health experts' urgent advice to make COVID-19 testing widely available, especially in Black and Latino and Indigenous communities, despite the dramatic disparities in mortality rates. He said, no, I'm not going to be able to do that. But he was able to tell the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by at a televised election debate. Y'all remember that time? The 2024 Trump campaign has doubled down on this commitment to racial injustice. Clearly, his 2025 bullshit has continued these efforts. The regime has promised, for example, to eradicate both public and private diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. And just a quick FYI, White women are the leading group of people who got advantages using DEI, and it always gives me a headache when even stupid people vote against their own best interests to hurt someone else. Some federal judges have attempted to block these directives, but a federal appeals court lifted a nationwide injunction in March 2025, allowing the administration to proceed with its anti-DEI efforts. And even though most of the country supports efforts to address racial inequality, I cannot tell, because why is this nefarious asshole back in the White House? He promises to eliminate many of those efforts that address racial inequality, and thereby he will be worsening racial disparities. Basically, they are going to amplify and boost their efforts to censor discussion of concepts deemed divisive from the nation's classrooms, by which it means classrooms discussions about race, gender, and systemic oppression. And anything Trump disagrees with is gone. He promised to cut federal funding for the schools that touch on these disfavored subjects. These assholes are also weakening protections in the areas of housing, education, healthcare, and other essential resources by adding new legal hurdles to challenging policies and practices that disproportionately harm people of color and other protected groups under major civil rights laws such as the Fair Housing Act. And he will also be gutting federal rules designed to increase access to housing and other community assets for people of color and other vulnerable groups. So simply put, fuck you, and he's putting the kibosh on civil rights. He's going to make your kids stupid and evil and paint the white race as American exceptionalism. And fuck the Constitution. We haven't seen it anyway, and fuck your feelings. In the first 100 days of his second term, his administration has eliminated DEI initiatives across federal agencies, and he's coming after the Civil Rights Act. Did y'all hear me? The Civil Rights Act. It's alarming, but are we surprised? No. So when I tell you that you need to wade in the water, you better get your ass in the water, okay? I'm so dead ass. Because the rate with which they are trying to and are unraveling civil rights protections, it would be impressive if they were doing anybody any good. There are more than 200 lawsuits challenging Trump's executive orders and other changes. We've had groups launch boycotts of businesses that retreated from DEI initiatives, and not to be a pessimist, because that's the opposite of who my Redeemer King called me to be. But even if those efforts succeed, Trump's actions have already caused tremendous damage. Bruising McTiny hands is steady dismantling laws intended to protect people from discrimination in schools, the workplace, and at the polls. If not challenged, it could set the civil rights movement back decades. It's been a full frontal assault, and I need you all to understand that these people are taking our rights away. I am livid, I am disgusted, and I'm trying not to break my damn phone or assault somebody and their property. And I just need you to know that. More recently, Trump signed an order that would repeal or amend provisions of the 1964 Civil Rights Act, saying that change guarantees equality of opportunity, not equal outcome. The Civil Rights Act was enacted July 2nd, 1964, and it's a landmark civil rights and labor law in the United States that outlaws discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, and national origin. It prohibits unequal application of voter registration requirements, racial segregation in schools and public accommodations, and employment discrimination. The act remains one of the most significant legislative achievements in American history, and it's the best thing that y'all done, because black girl magic is real. So some conservatives say that it's about time, and to them I say, eat my asshole. My asshole. So thanks to the non-92%, we are living in Project 2025 on steroids. I heard that Project Esther is next. I looked into it. It's some more bullshit. It seemingly takes away our freedom of speech. To them, I also say, good luck with that shit. Trump's agenda on civil rights follows the playbook of Project 2025, which is obviously the conservative plan to overhaul the federal government, including eliminating agencies like the Education Department, civil rights activists say. And this is weird, considering how Trump repeatedly said he didn't know what the hell that was while he was campaigning. He didn't know what Project 2025 was. But I did want to mention what James Clyburn, who's a Democrat and a rep for South Carolina, he said that it's not the first time that a president or Congress has tried to roll back civil rights protections. He noted the backlash after Reconstruction, which go watch that video because I just put one hot shit. Reconstruction was the period after the Civil War where newly freed enslaved people became politically involved in a big way, I feel, only to later face nearly a century of racial violence. He also says that things in this country have never moved on a linear plane. It is very important that we understand that what we are dealing with now is far more dangerous than anything that I think we fought against during the civil rights movement. These people are all amped up. And like I said, 2/3 of Americans are supposed to be against, this racial divide and this racial injustice. But why in the hell did they vote him back in here? So again, when I tell y'all we need to wade in the water, get you, your mama, and everybody to the water. We just need to figure out a meeting point somewhere in Canada. Y'all stay safe. Keep your head on a swivel, better yet. Stay woke. Where them Epstein files at? Where is the Constitution? And the people in Washington, D.C., be safe. Also, just stay at home if you black or a person of color in Washington, D.C. Just don't even play with it. Thanks for supporting me. And if anybody has any questions or, anything like that, just put it in the comments. Everybody have a blessed day. Bye.